Hey everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. So you probably already know Nintendo have released an expansion for the Switch so you can play N64 games, Sega games. We're not going to talk about N64 today, it's all Sega. So really, what is the best way of playing your Sega games? Well, using the authentic controller, surely. And look at this, I've got a Sega Pad here. So I've been using this for a few days, I'll talk about it, we're going to do an unboxing. It's kind of crazy though, Nintendo. Sega, Nintendo, Sega. It's a Nintendo Sega Pad. How weird is that? Especially if you grew up with Nintendo and Sega in the 90s anyway. So yeah, like I said, we're going to do an unboxing. We're going to test a few games on the Switch itself from the Sega Megadrive library, or Genesis, sorry, if you're in America. But also, I'm going to be trying this out using Retroarch on the PC. Now, it does work on Retroarch, I've already tested it, but there is one other really cool feature of the pad that does also work on the PC, as well as the Switch, which I'll talk about a bit more in depth shortly. Anyway, let's get this thing unboxed. Okay then, well, here you go. I must admit, I do like the design of the box here. It's pretty minimalistic, but it does the job. Bit of instructions, how to hook it up to your Switch. Who cares? We know how to do that. Right, okay, let's get this thing open. Right, so inside the box, let's remove the pad itself. So down here in the compartment, you get a USB cable. Yeah, you just use that to hook it up to your Switch. You should be able to sync though from the joypad. There is a sync button like every other Switch device as well, so that's all good. So we've got the pad here. There you go. Look at that. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you can read this. Let's try and get the light. But it does say Nintendo and Sega. That is just, to me, blows my mind. I would never think in a million years that I'd be seeing both of these names on a joypad, but here we are. Crazy times, eh? So yeah, you've got your three buttons. Now this is kind of weird because most joypads these days, they've got two sets of two, haven't they? PlayStation, Switch, any joypad. So it definitely takes a bit of getting used to using three buttons again. I do love the fact they click in really well. The joypad as well, very precise, it works pretty good. Got your start button. There is a few other buttons, I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's compare it though to my really old school Sega Megadrive pad. You can tell it's old because the D-pad's wiggling around there. But yeah, there's a slight bit of colour difference. I don't know why this is. I think it's down to the fact that in America, I remember seeing joypads with the red on them. So maybe it's based on the American design. It could be the Japanese design, I don't know. But my version at least didn't have red on the buttons and diagonals. But apart from that, they're pretty much similar pads. Maybe a little bit heavier with this one. Maybe that's down to the Bluetooth and all that. But yeah, it's exactly the same. Just looks nicer. Let's get rid of the old pad. So yeah, back to the pad itself. You've got a couple of extra buttons on top. You've got your home button. You've got your screenshot. I really like this because one thing I didn't like with the Super Nintendo pads, they for whatever reason didn't include these. Thankfully it was changed up for the N64 pad. But it's really annoying going back to using a second pad to get back to the home screen. I don't know why they did that, but you know, it's in the past, they can't change it. You've got a USB port right in the middle as well. And what is this? Well, funny enough, we only get 3 buttons. In Japan, they're releasing this pad with 6 buttons. There were quite a few games that used 6 buttons. I don't know why they didn't do this for the American, the European release of this pad. It would have made more sense, so it's kind of going to be limited to 3 buttons, or 3 button games on the Switch store, rather than a few of the others like maybe Street Fighter, Eternal Champions that use 6 buttons. But there is such a small amount of those, I can kind of understand maybe why they went with only 3 buttons. But still, it would have been nice to have 6. The button on top, now again, it kind of threw me because on the 6 button pad you have a mode button which you click to change between 3 and 6 buttons. Well, quite clearly we have 3 buttons. Why is this here? Well, you use it to rewind. So on the Switch, yeah, you just hold this button down and it will bring up the rewind. It's actually, I love the feature. It's really good. It's nice and quick. This also works on the PC. You can set up Retroarch as a hotkey for this key and it will rewind. Now we'll talk about that shortly. First things first, I'm going to get this connected to the Switch and we're going to test it with a few of the games. Okay, so we do have quite a nice selection of games. I'm going to go with Castlevania Bloodlines to test this first. Oh, Konami, what happened to you? Konami made some classic games back in the 16-bit days. Even like on the PlayStation, PS2. Great games. Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid, Rocket Knight Adventures, Castlevania. What happened to them? Anyway, this was one of those games that I never played before. I played through this though on the service a few weeks ago. I was using the Super Nintendo controller. Believe me, this feels way more at home on a Megadrive pad. Just the layout feels better. Pad is definitely responsive. Not having any issues here at all. Now I'm going to intentionally hit an enemy. Honest, that was intentional. There you go. So let's do a rewind. And yeah, it works great. I actually really like having this dedicated rewind button. I kind of wish the other pads had that now. Sonic 2, another game I recently replayed through using the SNES pad. Why? It works so much better on a Mega Drive pad for obvious reasons here. There also doesn't appear to be any lag in any of these games. I've not seen anything about that online either. So it's all good to me. It does, you know, feels like you're properly playing the original console. And finally, Streets of Rage 2, another classic game. It's one of my favourite beat 'em up ones, and yeah, it feels perfect using this pad. Let's move on to the PC side of things. So first things first, you have to have Bluetooth on your PC to do this. Connect your joypad up to the PC like you normally would. Hold down the sync button and then go to your Bluetooth settings in Windows. Once that's connected and you've got Retroarch installed, you're going to need to make a few changes for the pad to work. So let's go down to Input. Then we want to head down to Hotkeys. I'm going to try and set up the rewind function. So if you go down to rewind, this is where you're going to want to map your mode key. Let's head back. So here we need to change our buttons up, down. I'll leave you to do everything there. But as you can see in device index it says SNES controller, which is a bit weird considering it's Mega Drive, but hey, it all works. Once you've done that, come down to frame control and you must turn rewind support on here. Now it can be a little bit fiddly mapping the buttons correctly, but once you've got it all sorted out, it definitely all works fine. No problems here at all. And also, you've got that rewind function. It kind of works a little bit differently to the Switch one, but it does the job just as well to me. Again, just like on the Switch, I don't really see any lag issues here. Everything that I've tested seems to work absolutely fine. Even Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, I hope this video has helped make your mind up. You haven't really got any other choice. If you want the official product, this is definitely the pad to go for. However, if you do want to spend something maybe a little bit cheaper, you can get the 8-bit Do. There is a version of this joypad with 6 buttons. It's got Bluetooth, so you can use it on Retroarch and your Switch as well. But to me, I've always liked the official products. They always seem to last the longest. So I am glad I paid out for this. Now please do leave me some comments down below under the video. Are you going to be getting this pad? Has this video put you off from getting this all together? I want to know. Anyway, please do like the video. Now if you are new to the channel as well, it would be amazing if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching. You take care. See you later. Bye.